I watched her fold the last of her clothes into that red suitcase. The sound of the zipper closing felt louder than thunder. "Mira," I said softly, "you really made up your mind?" She didn't look at me. "I'm tired, Ethan. I can't keep pretending. I need to be with someone who makes me feel alive." "Ryan?" I asked. I already knew the answer. She hesitated for half a second, then nodded. "Yes. I never stopped loving him." I leaned back on the couch, my fingers locked together so I wouldn't shake. "And all this time, what were we, Mira?" She sighed. "We were real once, but I lost myself somewhere. Ryan understands me." I almost laughed, but it came out broken. "Understands you? You mean the guy who left you crying at graduation?" Her eyes flickered, but she didn't respond. I stood up slowly, walked to the window. Outside, the city lights blurred through the glass. "You don't owe me lies. Just say you want to go and I won't stop you." "That's not fair," she said, her voice trembling. "Why aren't you angry? Why aren't you fighting for me?" "Because you've already left," I replied quietly. "I can see it in your eyes." She stepped closer. "I wanted you to stop me." I turned to her. "And if I did?" She bit her lip, unable to answer. "Mira," I whispered, "I gave you everything. My patience, my heart, my silence. If that wasn't enough, nothing ever will be." Tears filled her eyes. "You make it sound easy." "It's not. I never said it was." I picked up the picture frame from the shelf. Our wedding photo. I set it face down on the table. "Go, before you change your mind again." She stood frozen for a moment. "You'll regret this calmness, Ethan." "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe you will." Her suitcase wheels rattled on the floor as she walked to the door. The silence between us was heavier than any scream. When she opened the door, I didn't move. I didn't say goodbye. She waited, expecting something. A plea, a shout, anything. Instead, I whispered, barely loud enough for her to hear, "You'll remember this silence one day." The door closed, and the apartment finally went quiet. The first week after she left, I didn't touch her side of the bed. Her pillow still smelled like her perfume, that soft jasmine scent that used to calm me. Now it just made me feel sick. Liam came over one night holding 2 beers. "Man, this place feels like a graveyard." "Yeah," I muttered, taking one. "Guess I'm the ghost." He sat down on the couch, scanning the room. "You called her?" "No. Planning to?" I shook my head. "What's the point?" "She's probably happy with him." Liam leaned back, sighing. "Then let her be. You staying quiet is the best thing you can do. Trust me. Silence messes with people more than words ever will." I chuckled weakly. "You sound like a therapist." "I sound like your friend who's sick of watching you drown." He looked at me, serious now. "Get up! Go out!" "Work out. Do something other than sitting here." "I'm trying," I said, though even I didn't believe it. He stood, clapping my shoulder. "Then actually try. Don't let her see you suffer. Make her wonder how you're fine." When he left, the apartment fell quiet again. I looked around. The half-empty closet, her favorite mug on the counter, the photo frames I couldn't bring myself to take down. Every object whispered her name. Days turned into weeks. I started waking up early, hitting the gym, burying myself in work. Small victories. One less nightmare, one more productive day. I stopped checking my phone for her texts. People at work said I looked better. Maybe I did. But at night, when the lights went off, the silence turned heavy again. It wasn't peaceful. It was screaming. I'd lie there, staring at the ceiling, hearing her laugh echo in my mind. I whispered once, "You wanted freedom." "Mira, you got it." Then I'd close my eyes and let the silence wrap around me, my new armor, cold but unbreakable. I didn't mean to see it. The photo just appeared on my feed. Mira and Ryan, standing on a beach, laughing like the world had never hurt them. Her caption said, "Finally found peace." Liam called that night. "You saw it, didn't you?" I exhaled slowly. "Yeah, don't," he warned. "Don't stalk her, don't text her. She wants a reaction." "I'm not giving her one," I said, though my hands were shaking. "Good. Because the moment you stop reacting, you win." After the call, I stared at my phone. More photos, dinners, trips. Her smile looked real, mine was gone. I deleted everything, Instagram, Facebook, even WhatsApp. The silence felt strange at first, like cutting off oxygen. But slowly, it became air I could finally breathe. At work, my boss called me in. Ethan, you've been focused lately. We're promoting you. I blinked. Seriously? You earned it. Keep it up. When I walked out of his office, I caught my reflection in the glass door. Same face, different fire. I wasn't the man who begged her to stay anymore. I was the man who got up after she left. Liam texted later. Told you. Silence works, I replied. Feels weird, though. He wrote back, weird now. Powerful later, a few weeks passed. I bought a car, nothing fancy, just mine. I worked late, went to the gym, even started cooking again. People at the office noticed. You're glowing, one of them said. I smiled. Maybe I just stopped chasing storms. Still, some nights hit harder. I'd find myself scrolling through my old photos, her smile pressed against my shoulder, her text that said, "You're my forever." I whispered to the empty room, "Forever didn't last long, did it?" Then I'd laugh, not bitterly, just quietly. Every day after that, I spoke less, worked more, and thought deeper. My silence wasn't emptiness anymore. It was rebuilding me, piece by piece. One morning, as I drove to work with the windows down, I realized something simple but powerful. I didn't need her love to feel alive. I just needed my peace. 6 months. That's how long it had been since she walked out. I was making coffee when my phone buzzed. The screen flashed a name I hadn't seen in forever. Mira. For a moment, I just stared. Then I answered. Hello? Ethan? Her voice trembled. Can we talk? I leaned against the counter. About what? There was a pause. It's Ryan. Things aren't how I thought they'd be. I said nothing. The only sound was her shaky breathing. He's changed, she continued. He's cold, distant. Sometimes I think he regrets everything. I took a sip of coffee. That must be hard. You don't sound surprised, she whispered. I'm not. Ethan, I didn't call to fight. I miss talking to you. Talking or confessing, she sighed. You always had to make everything complicated. No, I said quietly. You did, her voice broke a little. Do you hate me? I thought about it. The nights I couldn't sleep, the mornings I forced myself to smile, the emptiness she left behind. Then I said, no, I just don't care enough to hate you. Silence. Stretched between us, you've changed, she said finally. I had to. I thought you'd at least yell, anything. You already took enough energy from me. Mira, I won't give you more, her breath caught. I shouldn't have called. Probably not. I set my cup down gently. I hope you find peace. Then I hung up. The quiet afterward felt heavy but clean. No shaking hands, no tears. Just stillness. That night, my phone buzzed again, a text from her. You've changed. I stared at it for a while before replying, yeah. I had to learn peace the hard way. She didn't text again. At work the next day, Sarah noticed my calm mood. You look lighter today, she said, smiling softly. Maybe I am. She tilted her head. Someone finally apologized? Something like that, I said. I didn't tell her that silence had spoken louder than any apology could, and for the first time, it didn't hurt to let it stay that way. It was raining when I heard the knock. I opened the door, and there she was. Mira. She looked smaller somehow, her eyes hollow, her hair messy. Ethan, she whispered, forcing a smile. Can we talk? I stepped aside. Sure. She walked in slowly, scanning the apartment like it was unfamiliar. You changed things. I needed space, I said, closing the door behind her. She sat on the couch, wringing her hands. You look good. Thanks. I went to the kitchen. Tea? Yeah, she murmured. Please. While the kettle boiled, she said, Ryan cheated on me. I didn't turn around. I figured something like that would happen, she flinched. You don't even sound surprised. I'm not, I replied, pouring the tea. You always said you wanted excitement. You got it. When I handed her the cup, our fingers almost touched. She pulled back. I made a mistake. I sat across from her. You made a choice, she looked up sharply. Don't you care at all? About what happened to me? I met her gaze. Should I? Her voice cracked. Ethan, please, I'm not here to beg. I just wanted to see you. Then you've seen me. Her lip trembled. You're so cold now. I learned from the best. She wiped her tears. You used to listen. You used to hold me when I cried. You used to love me, I said quietly. We both changed. She stared at her cup. I thought you'd hate me forever. Hate takes effort. I'm tired. Silence filled the room, only the rain tapping the windows. She whispered, You're glad, aren't you? That karma hit me. I took a slow sip. I'm glad you found what you were looking for. That broke her. Tears spilled down her face as she buried her head in her hands. Ethan, she sobbed. I don't even know who you are anymore. I stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. Maybe that's the point. She looked at me one last time, shaking. Goodbye. Take care, Mira. When the door closed, I finally exhaled. My heart was racing, but my silence stayed steady, colder, louder, stronger than any revenge. At work, I heard it from Ben first. You know about Mira? He asked casually, like it wasn't a knife sliding between words. I kept typing. No, what about her? Ryan's gone. Left her for someone else, he hesitated. She's behind on rent, too. I didn't look up. People get what they chase, Ben sighed. You're cold, man. Just done, I said. When he walked away, I sat there staring at the blinking cursor. My chest didn't ache anymore, just a quiet, steady stillness. Later, Sarah stopped by my desk. Rough day? Not really, she smiled softly. You always say that when something's eating you. Nothing's eating me, Sarah. She leaned against the cubicle wall. Then maybe something's healing you. I couldn't help but smile. You're getting poetic. Maybe I like watching you smile again, she said before walking off. That evening, I sat on my balcony, city lights flickering below. My phone buzzed. Mira, do you still hate me? I stared at the screen for a long time. Hate? That flame burned out long ago. Me? No, I just don't think about you anymore. I hit send and set the phone down. A few seconds later, the typing bubble appeared, then vanished. No reply, just silence. And in that silence, I felt something new. Peace. Sarah called a little later. You home? Yeah. Want to grab dinner? You sound like you need real food, not instant noodles, I laughed. You know me too well. I'm learning, she said warmly. See you in 10. When she arrived, she didn't ask about Mira. She never did. Instead, she asked about my day, teased my playlist, made me laugh until I forgot how heavy things once felt. Halfway through dinner, she said, You've changed, Ethan, but in a good way. Maybe I finally stopped looking backward. That's growth, she said softly. After she left, I looked at my phone again. Still no message from Mira, just the quiet glow of the city, the hum of life moving forward. My silence wasn't revenge anymore. It was release. It was freedom. The ballroom buzzed with chatter and music when I walked in. I wasn't expecting anything special, just another company event with forced smiles and free wine. Then I heard that laugh. Sharp, familiar, arrogant, Ryan. He turned, glass in hand, eyes glazed with alcohol. Well, look who's here, he slurred. Ethan, the saint of silence. I stayed calm. Didn't expect to see you here. Small world, he said, stepping closer. Still bitter about how things went? I sipped my drink and smiled. No, actually, I should thank you, he blinked. Thank me? For what? For teaching me what peace feels like. His smirk faltered for a second. You always were the dramatic type. Maybe, I said lightly. But it looks like life's writing your drama now. He laughed, but there was no confidence in it. You think you're better than me? I don't think about you enough to compare, I replied. He glared, muttered something under his breath, and stumbled away toward the bar. I let him go. No satisfaction, no anger, just quiet understanding. Later that night, during cleanup, I overheard two guys from marketing whispering. Ryan's company's tanking, one said. Investors pulling out. His girlfriend dumped him too. The other shook his head. Guy burned too many bridges. I walked past them without a word. The universe didn't need me to intervene. Karma had its own timing. Outside, the night air felt cool, steady. I took a deep breath and watched the city lights shimmer. Sarah called. You left early? Yeah, I said. Ran into an old ghost. Haunting you? Not anymore. Just passing by, she smiled through the phone. You sound free. I am, I said quietly. Turns out life handles justice better than I ever could. As I hung up, I realized peace wasn't found in revenge. It was found in letting karma do its silent work. It was past midnight when my phone buzzed. A message from Mira. For a moment, I just stared at her name glowing on the screen. My heart didn't race. It just paused. I opened it. Ethan, I owe you an apology, it began. I thought you'd chase me. I thought your silence meant pride. But it was strength. You didn't fight me, and that broke me more than any argument could. I kept reading. Her words poured out, regret, guilt, memories. She said Ryan had left, that she'd realized too late who truly cared. You loved quietly. I loved selfishly. I ruined everything. My thumb hovered over the screen. Sarah's voice echoed from earlier that day. You seem lighter these days. Maybe she was right. I typed nothing back. Instead, I whispered to myself, you said everything I needed to hear just too late. The phone buzzed again. Can we meet just once? For closure, I sighed. Closure, I murmured. The word people use when they want to reopen wounds. I didn't reply. I set the phone down, made some tea, and stared out the window. The city was quiet, the kind of silence that used to crush me. But tonight it felt peaceful. When the steam from the cup fogged the glass, I drew a small line through it, one final mark before it vanished. Just like her words, I picked up my phone, scrolled through the message one last time, then pressed delete. No anger. No sadness. Just stillness. Sarah texted, still awake? Yeah, I replied. Just cleaning up some old noise. She sent a heart emoji. Simple. Real. I leaned back, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Control. Her apology didn't heal me. My silence did. I didn't need closure. I already had peace. Dinner, you sure you're not too tired? Sarah asked, smiling as she brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. Tired, yes. But I'd rather spend the evening with you than another night microwaving leftovers, I said, grinning. She laughed, soft, easy, real. Then it settled. My treat tonight. We sat across from each other at a small Italian restaurant, the kind with dim lights and slow music. I didn't remember the last time I'd laughed this much. Every word with her felt effortless. So, she said, sipping her drink, does this count as your first real date after everything? I smiled. Guess so. Didn't think I'd ever want one again. You're allowed to start over, you know, she said gently. I'm learning that, I replied. Love doesn't have to be chaos, she nodded. It shouldn't be. We talked about random things and travel, books, stupid office stories. No drama, no guilt. Just presence. At one point, I caught myself watching her laugh, the way she wrinkled her nose when she smiled. It hit me. Peace could look like this. After dinner, we walked out into the cool air. She slipped her hand into mine naturally, no hesitation. I didn't pull away. For once, it felt right. Ethan, she whispered, you've changed. I had to, I said. It was the only way to stay sane. The next morning, as fate would have it, I saw Mira across the street. She froze when she spotted us, Sarah's hand still in mine. Our eyes met for a few seconds. No words, no pain. Just silence, but calm, final, complete. She turned away first. And I didn't feel anger or pity, just gratitude. Sarah squeezed my hand. You okay? I nodded. Yeah, I think I finally am. As we walked on, the city noise faded behind us. For the first time in forever, the silence wasn't empty. It was peace. Love didn't need to be loud. It just needed to be honest. The evening sky was painted in shades of gold when my phone buzzed. Mira's name appeared again, faint, unfamiliar now. I hesitated for a second before opening the message. I finally understand why your silence scared me, it read. It meant you didn't need me anymore. I stared at the screen for a long moment. No anger, no ache. Just a quiet acceptance. Sarah called from inside. You coming in? Dinner's getting cold. In a minute, I said, still looking at the sunset. She stepped out to the balcony, arms crossed. Old ghost? Yeah, I said softly. But not the haunting kind anymore, she smiled. You don't have to reply, you know. I wasn't planning to. I chuckled lightly. There was a time I'd have written paragraphs trying to explain myself. Now I just don't feel the need. That's growth, she said. Or peace, I replied. Maybe both. She squeezed my hand and went back inside, leaving me alone with the fading light. I read Mira's words again. You didn't need me anymore, she was right. For so long my silence had been armor, a way to survive the noise of heartbreak. But somewhere along the way, it became strength. I whispered to the wind, silence isn't weakness, it's power. A notification blinked, a photo from Sarah, her cooking disaster in the kitchen, smoke rising from a pan. I laughed out loud, the kind of laugh that came from somewhere healed. I typed to her, on my way to rescue dinner. Before heading inside, I looked at the sunset one last time, the end of something, the beginning of something better. Forgiveness came quietly, without drama. I forgave Mira not because she asked for it, but because I didn't want to carry her mistakes anymore. I whispered, you're free, Mira, so am I. As I stepped inside, the world felt lighter. I once thought silence was emptiness, a punishment. But now I knew the truth. Silence was clarity, the voice of peace. I lost her once. But in that silence, I found myself.